This review is made possible by Toyota of Naperville. Toyota of Naperville is the largest Toyota dealer in Illinois with hundreds of new and used vehicles in their inventory. Visit www.toyotaofnaperville.com or in person at 1488 West Ogden Avenue in Naperville, Illinois. Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 2020 Toyota Yaris Hatchback. Up front is a 1.5 liter inline 4, and down below is a 6-speed automatic transmission. This video is sponsored by CarMarshal.com. If you'd like to support the channel, click the link down in the description below. CarMarshal.com advertises for over 100,000 vehicles across the US. But let's get back to that 1.5 liter 4-cylinder engine. Well, it is a tiny little engine, and it gets decent gas mileage. It's not, going to be the most gas-saving thing in the world, but it is not going to absolutely suck fuel like a V8. Here, I will put up on the screen what the fuel rating for this vehicle actually is, and it's good. It's definitely good. For the price point, it is really nice. And that's really what we're going to be talking about with this engine. This is not a performance engine, and as you guys will notice, I mean, at least at the time of driving, the car has 3 miles on it. It'll probably have more by the time I do the visuals, but we will not be doing an acceleration test because the engine is not fully broken in yet. But what I can tell you is that this thing will absolutely sip on gas. You will not be hurting every time you fill up. And that's really what this car is good for. Now, like I said, paired to it is an automatic transmission. This is the only transmission offered in the Yaris hatch. If you guys remember, I actually did a 2019 Yaris sedan in manual. So they still offer the sedans in manual, but the hatchbacks only come in automatic. So if you have to have that manual transmission, you will have to go with the sedan. Although I think it would be cool if someone swapped this. If someone took a sedan transmission and put it into here and made a manual hatchback, I think that'd be really cool. But from the factory, you cannot order a manual hatchback, sadly. And last but not least, of course, the Yaris is front wheel drive. So let's talk about the interior. Now, before we actually do so, I made this a point last time I reviewed a Yaris, and I have to make it a point this time as well. This is a Mazda. That's what it is. This is actually a Mazda 2. But for some reason, we don't actually import the Mazda 2 here to the US. So this is the closest you can get to actually owning a Mazda 2 in 2020. But the reason I say that is because all of this interior stuff is from Mazda. It is literally picked up and dropped. This wheel is the same steering wheel that you'll find in all the Mazdas. The Mazda Miata, actually, the MX-5, to be more specific. But just keep that in mind that a lot of the stuff is Mazda, and so if you like it, you might like other Mazdas, and if you don't like it, don't bash Toyota because this isn't really their design language. But in front of me, I do have one physical gauge, my center-mounted speedometer, which is really nice. It's clear and easy to read and has a nice little LED light going around it that I really like. But then to the left, I do actually have a digital tachometer. I actually sort of like this. I wish that it were bigger, or they displayed it to you a little bit differently. They're sort of displaying it more traditionally in the half circle, which is fine, but because the screen is so small and the screen isn't really shaped like a half circle, I feel like there could have been a better way to do this. On the right, I do have some nice information. It is the outside temperature, which is a brisk 47, my range, and then my fuel, which I do like. It is actual bars, and as you get closer to the empty, the bars get more refined, so you can sort of gauge better how much fuel you have once you're down towards the bottom end. Because when you're on a full tank, you don't have a single care in the world. You'll drive to the moon if you want. But when you do get down to a more and more empty tank, it is nice to sort of have that fine detail, and I like that. The steering wheel is made of this hard plastic. It's not quite as nice as some other Mazdas, but on the left I do have my volume control and my track as well as my phone options, and then on the right I do have cruise control. Yes, this car actually does have cruise control, which is a super nice feature, and I absolutely love that. Then to the left I just have a vent and my window switches, which only the driver's window is auto. To the left of the steering wheel, I do have two buttons for traction control off and my tire pressure monitoring set. If you get a flat tire or if you get your tires changed, you will probably have to reset that, so that is a button you might want to get yourself familiar with. Then we come to the center, we do have the standard infotainment system offered in all Mazdas. Couple things I like and couple things I don't like. I do like the functionality and I like the scroll wheel, which we'll talk about in a second. And I think overall the actual center display looks really nice. You have HD radio as well as regular radio. You could do Bluetooth and USB in for your music, which is absolutely awesome. Now, a couple things that I don't like. The navigation page, since this car did not have the navigation package added, just gives you your coordinates. It doesn't actually give you the map. I feel like it's almost rude for them to give you your exact coordinates and a compass. You are facing this way and positionally you are at this specific place in the world, but they just don't give you the map. Literally, it would be one software download that would probably take 10 minutes, and they make you pay a lot extra for that. Now, of course, that's how dealers make their money, blah, 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 but the fact that they give you your exact coordinates, just not the map, that's pretty annoying. The second thing that I don't like about the center display is the fact that when you turn the vehicle on, it shows a Yaris, but it shows the Yaris sedan. We're in the hatchback. And so that to me just seems like they did just sort of cut a slight corner. They didn't even update the software in this thing to reflect the fact that it's a hatch. It's just slightly sloppy on Toyota and Mazda's part. I don't really know who programmed it. But down below that, we do get a hazard button as well as one singular vent. Actually, excuse me, there is a secondary vent. There are two vents, asymmetrical. There's a circular one closer to the driver and then a line one. But then down below that, we do have our climate controls. Very basic here, nothing really too crazy. And then down at the bottom, we do have a couple interesting things. We have two USBs in, which one of them is telling me is for my phone. So I believe the top one is actually to go into the center display. It's not to charge your phone, it's just for the center display. And then I do have an aux in as well as a 12-volt outlet, so you can charge whatever you want to charge. Then we come down to the shifter. I like the shifter. Again, it's a Mazda shifter, and of course, I love Mazdas. I think it's a really great shifter. And we do actually have a sport mode, so we can actually click it up into sport. A little bit more aggressive of shifts. It kind of holds the car in gear for longer, so you can really get the maximum potential out of the revs. But other than that, it's not really a sporty mode. It doesn't change the suspension. It doesn't unlock some unknown horsepower or previously inaccessible horsepower. It's just slightly sportier for passing on the highway. But then we come down to the bottom. This is the scroll wheel. This is how you control the radio, and I think it's one of the best in its class. Actually, no, it is the best in its class because I like this a lot. It has a lot of tactile response. It clicks every time you turn it, so you know 1 click, 2 click, 3 clicks. It's very easy to work without looking, and then you can also move it over. It's very satisfying. It really clicks everything that it does, and I like that a lot because I don't have to stare down at it. I don't have to, try to figure it out, and it's very precise without too much effort, and I really like that. The seats are all right. Of course, this is a more base model vehicle, so the seats, they're not hard though. A lot of base models have hard seats, and that's not the case here in the Yaris. They're not hard, but they are cloth. They're nothing really to write home about. But we do have back seats, so let's do a back seat review, and then we will also jump back and talk about the hatch, because that is, of course, a big talking point here with the Yaris. All right, so we're in the back of the 2020 Yaris Hatchback. Headroom is great. Knee room is not so great, and this is actually my driving position. So I could have scooted it up just a little bit to give me a little bit more knee room. The passenger side definitely has more knee room. That being said, this is an economy car back seat. This is not the strong point of the Yaris. However, it's not horrible. It's definitely livable. I'll show it over here. This side has a lot more leg room than right here, obviously. You can see my knees are touching, but over here would probably be a lot more comfortable. And I do actually have 3 headrests, 3 seat belts. So if you wanted to fit 3 people in the back, you really could. This would be a great college car. This would be a great starter car, stuff like that. But let's actually talk about the hatch, because that is why we're here, of course. All right, so Yaris hatch. Just reach under here and there's a little button. It actually goes in a lot deeper than I thought. A little compartment over there. These seats do fold down. I do have this nice privacy cover as well. So you could store stuff back here, and then when this is closed, as you can see, that kind of comes down. You're not gonna be showing the world what you have back here. You do have a nice little light. You can toggle that on and off. But other than that, pretty standard hatchback, but it definitely offers more room than the sedan. Now we got to talk about the looks. I really actually do like the looks of the Yaris hatch. I love hatchbacks to start off with. I think hatchbacks just look better for the most part. To be fair, not all hatchbacks, but I think it looks great. This is actually the color Icicle, which is a sort of, it's a white gray sort of mix, but I love the gray wheels. I think the gray rims actually do look really good, especially with this color, the white on black sort of, or white on gray, or gray on gray, silver on gray, whatever color combo you want to call this. I think it does look really, really good, and it sort of sets it apart from other base model cars. It's not white like Enterprise Rent-A-Car. It's not black, you know, like Hertz Rent-A-Car. You know, it doesn't look like you just picked this thing up at the airport. It actually looks like you took some time to pick what color you wanted, and I really like that. Overall, I have to say I am pretty happy with the Yaris hatch. If you guys remember, if you guys are fans of the channel, I recently reviewed a 1991 Ford Festiva, which would have been priced similarly to this vehicle had it been produced today. They're economy cars. And so that thing was so tiny, so unloaded. It didn't even have AC. This has air conditioning. This has traction control. This has cruise control. This has digital gauges. This has Bluetooth and an optional navigation. I think this really speaks to how far base model cars have really come. And so this car is about $17,750 according to the window sticker. That's not bad for what you get. This is a pretty good deal. If you don't need the space, if you don't have a family of 6, this is a really good option for you. It's cheap, it sips on gas, and it's not the ugliest thing in the world. You know, I've mentioned this before. If you're buying an economy car, odds are you don't have all of the money in the world. And so there's already enough stress associated with not having enough money. I know that firsthand. Not having money is very, very stressful. And so buying a car, you should get something that doesn't stress you out even more. If I pulled up to school or work in this car, I wouldn't think, oh, what are people going to think of me? You know, maybe I should park far so people don't know that I drive a base model. This car fits in with everything else. This thing isn't going to add any more stress to your life. And that is what I really like about this. And that's what I appreciate about how far base model vehicles have come. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Toyota of Naperville for letting me take out their 2020 Yaris hatch, as well as letting me take it onto their test track. I'm very appreciative of this. Their information is up on the screen. They have probably about 10 or 15 of these in stock right now, but of course, as 2020 grows closer, they will have plenty more. But definitely head over to their website. If Toyotas are not your thing, they have over 400 used vehicles in their inventory at all times. They have tons of different stuff. I think I'm about to drive a Honda Fit and then a Porsche Macan. So they have a very, very diverse lot. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys. Aside from my soul.